Shalom Aleichem Rabbi Isai. This is the second shiur on Perek HaGozel Eitzim. But before we get started today, if you made it up until this point and you made it through the first shiur, you should have a sort of an idea of what this shiur is about. So maybe I can elaborate a little bit more. What I found over the years in learning various yeshivas is that not enough emphasis is put on clarity in learning. When you pick up a sugya, the idea is to walk through all the possible scenarios and the outcomes of what you're learning. So hopefully this shiur will help with that, help you with learning the rules on how to learn and how to learn pshat correctly by exploring all the avenues that there are to explore in the sugya from a logical perspective. What that means is to separate yourself from the ideas that you're learning, and instead of being a sponge and soaking up what you're learning, try to decipher what the motivation, the necessity, and the logic behind every opinion that you discover. With that, let's get started for the day. Today we are covering a little bit more in the Mishnah. We're going to cover Shitas Rashi, and hopefully we can finish up with Shitas Rashi, and we can move on to the next shiur. But let's take it step by step here. So last year we gave two possible mahalchim in learning the Mishnah. Second case of the Mishnah. So we said, Gazel para mu'beres v'yolda. Rachel t'una v'gazza, mishalim d'mei para umedis li'oled, v'd'mei Rachel ha'umedis li'gazes. So we said there's two possible interpretations of that. Okay, he steals a pregnant cow and it gives birth, or he steals a sheep that's ready to be sheared and he shears it. So he pays the value of a cow that's ready to give birth and the value of a sheep that's ready to be sheared. Okay, so we came out with two possible diukim in this section, second section of the Mishnah. It says D'mei Rachel, mashma that he pays the value of a sheep, or D'mei Para, he pays the value of the cow. Okay, so we made a diuk from there that it might be possible that the Mishnah, correct Havana in the Mishnah is that there's an actual shinoi in the guf of the animal. Okay, when he is shearing the sheep, or when the para gives birth. Okay, so there's one side that there's an actual change in the animal. We said that's not so svardik because La'olam, really, the para is the same para that gave birth a week ago. There's no change in the name of the para. There's no change in the mahus of the para. It's now a para that's given birth versus a pregnant para. Okay, the second diak is that he pays rega echad before the leda or before the giza. Okay, so he said there's seemingly a contradiction between the last part of the Mishnah, you always pay kishas gezela. Well, why in this case do you pay one moment before the change happens? So he said one possible teretz is not to learn like our first diak, not to learn that he's kona the para, rather he's only kona the vlad, he's only the kona the giza. He's only kona the calf or the shearings. And in that case, really, he never really did a ma'aseh gezela on the shearings or on the vlad before they came into existence. So then it's more mistaber that our second side of that really la'olam he's not kona the para. And he's kona the vlad and the shearings. And therefore he has to pay rega echad before the leda and the giza happens, or he does the giza. Why? Because that's the time in which he's actually done a ma'aseh gezela on that which he stole. Okay, Up until then, the taking of the cow or the taking of the sheep was not be'etam a ma'isa gezela on the shearings, and it wasn't a ma'isa gezela on the vlad, because the vlad was not in existence at that time. Neither were the shearings when he stole it. Okay, and there may have been a part of the shearings, of what was to be sheared, but at this moment in time, this actual wool here is now a nayazach. It's a new thing. Okay, all right. So those are the two tzadim we had in the Mishnah, and really, the tzad that we said that he's kona the para or the rachel is very hard to shtel with the seif of the Mishnah. Kol hagazlan misham kshas gzela. Okay, because the Mishnah says demei para medis lialid v'demei rachel medis legazes. Mashma that it's a moment before that change happens. Well, what happened if he's kona the para? It should go all the way back to the shas gezela when he took the para or the sheep, like it says in the seif of the Mishnah. Zaklav kol hagazlan misham kshas gzela. Okay, all right. So those are the two tzadim. And we also had a problem in the other side that he's only kona the vlad. So how do you stem that up with kol hagazlan misham kshas gezela? We said a very nice teretz there, that the vlad and the wool were in existence before he did the giza. So he hasn't done a ma'isa gezela on those objects separately from the cow. Okay, so the Mishnah is coming to tell me that that is the shas gezela. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at Rashi here. Rashi says, okay, HaGozel Eitzim Mishalim Kshas HaGzela. Dmei Eitzim V'tzemer. He pays the value of wood and wool. Ve'ein chayiv lahachzer lo'ikelim dekani b'shinoi. So Rashi lays out the yesod in the first case. First case is where he took boards and he made them into a cupboard, a shelf, a drawer, whatever it is. He's not chayiv to return the boards or the drawer or the cupboard. Rather, he has to pay the value of the boards or the wool. Okay, all right. Second Rashi. V'demei rachel atu une ligazei. So we're going to the second case of the Mishnah, where it says a person that steals a pregnant cow or a sheep that is ready to be sheared, and he goes and the para gives birth, or the sheep gets sheared. You pay the value of a para omedis lialed and a rachel omedis ligazis. So it says Rashi like this. V'ha'odef sheshava achshav havlad v'agisa yoser shelohu dekaninehu b'shinoi. Let's look at this word by word. V'ha'odef, in the extra, sheshava achshav, that it is worth now. What is worth now more? Havlad v'agiza. The vlad and the giza is now worth more. Yoser. Shilohu, it is his. The kaninehu, that he acquired it through shino, b'shino. Okay? So, what is Rashi really trying to say here? What does it mean, Dmei Rachel hata une legazes? What does it mean that you pay the value of a sheep that is ready to be sheared? The additional value that the vlad and the giza is worth now that it is born or in existence as wool, meaning it has been sheared, that extra value belongs, shelohu, belongs to the gazlan, to kananeu b'shinoi, that he's konet through the shina. Okay? When we're medayik a rishon, there's two things to pay attention to. The first thing is what the rishon says, and the second is what the rishon doesn't say. Okay? So it's very clear from this Rashi that he does not mention that the Gazlan is Kona the Para or the Rachel. What does he say he's Kona? The Odef Sheshava Achshav, the Konanehu Vishinoi. So we can be medayik from there that Rashi is holding like our second side. The Gazlan is Kona Ach Virak, the Tzemer, and the Vlad, not the Para and the Rachel. Okay? What is he Kona in the Vlad and the Giza? Ve'ha'odef sheshava achshav ha'vlad ve'agiza Yosef. Dehainu. The Gazlan always has to pay the value of the Giza and the Ibor immediately before the change happens. But he does not pay the value of the Giza and the Vlad after the change has happened. There is a change in value between an Ibor and a Vlad. The Ibor is unborn, and there's always a sakana in birth, so you don't really know what's going to happen. Could die in birth. You have no idea, right? That additional value over and above what the Ibor was worth rega echad before the Leda, that is the profit that the Gazlan keeps. So we take, let's say the Vlad is worth in and of itself $140, okay? And the Ibor was worth right before the Parah gave birth, $120. Okay, the Gazlan has to pay $120 back to the Bailam, and he keeps the extra $20 from selling the Vlad. And the same thing in the case of the sheep. There is a work value in removing those shearings from the sheep. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes, expertise, skill. That has a value to it. So he pays. We sell off the wool, and he pays the value of wool that is still mechuber to the sheep, and he keeps the extra work value that he put into the animal. Okay? Very mistaber. So this is the diak we're making in Rashi. Rashi holds like the second side that we said in the Mishnah. Rashi holds that there's no change that happens to the guf of the animal by giving birth or by being sheared. Rather, the change is from shearings to wool and from fetus to cat. Okay? And that is why you pay Dmei Rocha Medis Ligazes, Dmei Para Medis Liyalit. Okay. So I think we have a clear idea of what Rashi is holding, but per the Mar Mekaimis, let's take a look at the Nimukei Yosef. Okay. Says the Nimukei Yosef, Kosav Hara'ah b'shem Rabbi Zal. There's a Rishon called the Ra'ah, and he said in the name of his Rebbe, Delav dafka demei v'loimar sheguf ha'para kanoi lo b'shinoi. It's lav dafka when it says demei para hamedis liyaled. Lav dafka demei. V'loimar, and to say that the guf of the para is kanoi to the Gazlan, b'shinoi. Delayda v'giza lav shinoihu. Giving birth and shearing a sheep is not a change. Lav shinoihu b'guf ha'para. That's not a change in the body or physical form of the para. De meikara gufa malya. In the beginning, we were dealing with a filled body. V'hashta gufa reika. And now it's an empty body. What changes there? V'loi havi shinoi v'gufa v'hema. K'lemot lo havi shinoi im heitila glolim. Says the Ra'ah, what's the difference between giving birth and going to the bathroom? There was content in the animal before it went to the bathroom. Now that it's gone to the bathroom, it doesn't have that content anymore in it. But nobody in their right mind would call that a shinoi, right? So what's the difference by a pregnant cow that gives birth? Or a sheep that is ready to be sheared? V'ashinoi dafka legabe tzemer v'vladhu. The shinoi is specific to the wool and the calf. Lefikach yishalim ma shahaya shava hatzemer v'vlad oz. You pay the value of the ibor and the shearings before it was sheared. Okay. So very clearly saying, like we said in Rashi before, our second tzad in the Mishnah. Continues the Nimukei Yosef. V'afal pisha harazal kosav to have a shinoi nami begofa behema. Ein niroin lahem devarav v'gam Rashi zal hachi pirsha. The dafka avlad v'agiza kani b'shinoi. Okay. Brings the Nimukei Yosef that there is a Rishon Taka the Raz that holds that there's a shinoi also in the guf of the behema. And the Nimukei Yosef says that's not pshat. And also Rashi holds like this, exactly how he explained. Nimukei Yosef makes the exact same diak in Rashi. The dafka avlad v'agizah kanam b'shinoi u'mishalim shahayu d'meihem va'odef sheshava achshav shaloyu. Okay. Yoser shaloyu. Who shaloyu. Okay. The Nimukei Yosef brings an important point that we hadn't discovered until this point. What is really the difference between going to the bathroom and giving birth? Meikara gufa malya, before it was a body filled with content. Hasha gufa reika. Now the animal is just empty of that content. It's still an animal. It's still the same animal. It just went to the bathroom or gave birth or was sheared. Part of the normal course of things. Okay. All right. So, pretty clear here. Shitas Rashi is that he's kona ach v'rak v'vlad. Okay. Ach v'rak v'tzemer. Okay. That's where the shinoi happens. He has to return to the bailim the cow and the sheep. Okay. So if you saw the Mareh Mekaymus, I want to take a look at the Gemara back on Samechei Amud Beis. Okay. Amar Rabbi Eila'ah. Says Rabbi Eila'ah, Ganav Telev Nasa Ayil. What happens if a gazlan, goes ahead and steals an immature, like a sheep, and it became a ram, or a calf, egel v'nasa shor, and it became an ox. Nasa shinoi biyado v'kano. A change happens in his hands, in his rishos, that's what it means, biyado, in his rishos. A change happened. Na'aseh shinoi. Not hu asa shinoi, hu mishane. Na'aseh shinoi biyado. A change happened to the animal in his rishos. V'kano, and he's koneh. tabach umachar, if he slaughters or sells the animal, sheloihu toveach sheloihu moicher. Okay, he is slaughtering what is his, or he is selling what is his. Okay, just to give a little bit of background. The Torah is mechayev someone who steals an ox or a sheep or a ram that he sells or shechs for whatever reason, whether he's selling, whatever it is. If he shechs it or sells it, the Torah is mechayev a kanas, a fine on the gazlan, of 4 and 5 times the value of that which he stole. Okay, different to regular case of geneva. If Reuven steals from Shimon a let's say a pot, okay, and Reuven gets caught with that pot, not only does he have to return the pot, but he has to pay a kanas called kefil. Okay, that's double the value, or that is the entirety of the value of the object that he stole. So he pays keren, if in the case it no longer exists. Let's say he stole the pot and the kids used it as like a thing and threw it in the garbage, right? So it's no longer around, right? He pays the value of the pot, and he pays a kanas of kefil, or double that value. Okay, so if the pot was worth $20, this guy's got to pay $40. Okay. Torah is mechayev an extra fine on the gazlan if he steals livestock and he shechs it or he sells it for personal profit. Okay, that's 4 and 5 times. So let's say the sheep was worth $20. I believe that on the sheep it's 4 times, so it would be $80. On the ox it would be 5 times, so it's $100. Okay, so tashlume arba v'chamisha, right? That's what it's called. So Rabbi Yillah comes along and says a din, right? Let's say the guy steals a baby ram or a calf that hasn't turned into an ox yet. Torah was mechayev on an ox and a ram. Okay, so just because this was a little yingle when you stole it, because that change happened, now shelo yutevech shelo yumaycher, and he does not get the kanas of dalad v'chamisha. Okay, arba chamisha. Okay, so he does not have to pay the extra kanas because he was koneh through shinoi, the ram and the ox, and therefore he only if it's killed, or if it's no longer around, or taveach meicher, right? It's no longer in existence and can be returned as it was. Vehishav hazagzela, he pays the value ach v'rak of the principal from when he stole it. Okay. Isvei Rabbi Chanina lo Rabbi Yillah. Rabbi Chanina asks a question on Rabbi Yillah. Ganav telev v'nasa ayo. Egel v'nasa shor. We have a brisa that says, if a guy, same scenario, mishalem tashlume kefel v'tashlume arba chamisha ke'ein shagana. What's the din? A guy steals a teleh and it became an ayo. Guy steals a calf and it became an ox. He pays value. He pays the kefel and the dal vehe requirements, ke'ein shaganav. The value of the fine is based on the value of the object at the time that he stole it. So let's say right now an ox is worth $100, and when he stole it, it was worth $50. Okay, so he has to either pay kefel or dal vehe. If he's paying kefel, he would pay $100 total value. Okay, kanas and principal. And if he was paying dal vehe, it would be either $200 or $250, as opposed to $400 or $500. Okay, if it was kishas hamadavadin. Okay, all right. So if you hold Rabbi Yillah that the Gazlan was koneh through a shinoi, amay mishalim. Why should he pay? Why should he pay the kanas? Shaloihu teveach shaloihu moicher. He shouldn't pay a kanas at all. So why does the Brisa clearly say in this case that he pays a kanas? Okay. Amar le ve'elamah. Well, ve'elamai. What are you going to tell me? That shinu is loikani? Rabbi Law responds to Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Chanina, you are asking this question from the Brisa. You're going to tell me that shinui is not koina? Meaning I can derive from your words or your line of questioning that you hold that shinui is not koina. Well, I have a proof against you, says Rabbi Law. Amay mishalim gein shaganav, l'shalim ki ashta. If shinui is not koina, then why is he paying from the time? Why is he paying from the kanas for the time that he stole it? He should pay the kanas of like it is now. Dahainu, if no shinoi happened to this animal, or shinoi happened to this animal, but that is inconsequential for halacha because we hold that shinoi is not koine. So then why should he pay the value of the kanas from the time that he stole it? There's been no shinoi. The only time you inflict the din of v'heishav esak zegla asher gazal is when there was a shinoi that happened. Otherwise, there's takanas hashavim, right? You have to return the object. You'll tell me it's slaughtered now or it's sold. Well, you pay the value of it now. The reason Rabbi Chanina responds to Rabbi Law, I have a teretz for you, Rabbi Law. The reason why you pay the value, the kanas of the or the valuation, we don't base the valuation of the kanas on what it's worth now. Mishum da amar leitura ganvi mimcha dircha ganvi mimcha. Okay? Because the Gazlan has a taina. He can say back to the Bailim, did I steal a shor from you? Did I steal a ram from you? No, I stole a talah, I stole an egel. So therefore, the knas should be based on the time that I stole it. Okay. All right. So this is a very similar case to the case in our Mishnah. Okay. We said in our Mishnah, if a guy steals a cow that is pregnant and v'yolda and it gives birth, that is part of the normal course of its life. So too here, we see that the normal the normal course of a calf's life is to become an ox. The normal course of a sheep is to become a ram. Okay. But still, that is considered a shina. Okay. And it's also clear that you pay ka'ein shaganav the kanas. Okay. What is not clear is the flip side of that. Okay. So let's see Rashi here. Nasa shinui v'yodo v'kano. Rabbi Law says, if it became an aisle, nasa shinui v'yodo v'kano. B'shinui laha milsa, te'im tavach u'machar shaloyu teveach, u'pater midal v'hei. What is it talking about that he's koine through a shinui? That if he shechs it and he sells it, he has sold or shechted his own object, and he is pater from the knas of dal v'hei. Aval keren v'kefel mishalim. But he would still pay the knas of kefel, and he still pays keren. he still pays the principal value of the object, and he also pays the double knas. Okay, not the 4 and 5 times knas, he pays the 2 times knas. Dr. Rashi, Keren ki hashta. He pays the value of the object like that which is valued now. Okay? The kefel ke'ein shaganav. In kefel, the 2 times kanas goes back to ke'ein shaganav. O kashas amadavidin. Okay. So this part of Rashi is really not so clear. Kefel ke'ein shaganav o kashas amadavidin. Okay. So I guess what we're saying here is that we're really not sure what Rabbi Elah is by kefel, whether he pays ke'ein shaganav or kashas amadavidin. We haven't gotten that far in the Gemara yet. Okay. So it's still open when he pays the value of kefel by, but Rashi clearly says Keren ki hashta. He pays the principal value like that which it is now. Exactly lining up with the din that Rashi says on our Mishnah, that you paid the vlad of rega echad before the change happened. Okay? Says Rashi, Ke'ein shaganav, l'kamon ois vinan l'rav. Later on, we're going to ask a kasha on Rav. Mehad amar tashlumi kefel v'dalet v'hei kashas amadabedin. It says in the Brisa that tashlumi kefel and dalet v'hei are paid like the value of when it is evaluated in court. So, we're going to ask a kasha from this brisa on Rav, who says the din that you actually pay kefil and dalet v'hei from the time that we're standing in court, not ke'ein shagana. Okay, and we'll leave that for a separate sugya, because really in our Gemara we're not really talking about kefil and dalet v'hei, we're talking about keren. Okay. Ulerabba de Amar Tavra Ushasia Mishalim Dalid Kidahashta Leka La'isvei. Okay, there's a sugya in Meruba where Rabbah says a din. Let's say Ruvain steals from Shimon a pitcher of wine. Okay, and Ruvain breaks that pitcher of wine, or he drinks it. Okay, Tavra Shasia. Let's say wine on the day that he actually took the pitcher was worth $10. And on the day that he drank it or broke the pitcher, it was worth $40. Okay? Rabbah says that din is you pay $40, not $10. Okay? So, Rashi says you can't ask a kasha from this brisa on that din of Rabbah. You would have a havamina that the two are contradictory. Why? Because the brisa clearly says that you pay ke'ein shaganav. You pay the value of kefil dalet v'hei ke'ein shaganav, like when he stole it, right? And this is essentially the same case. It broke. It's no longer in existence, just like he shechted it or he sold it, right? It's no longer around, right? So the din should be the same. You should, if Rav is correct, you should pay kihashta, like it's valued now. Okay? It says Rashi, you can't ask that kasha. Why? The yachol l'shnuye dehach masnisa kefel v'dalet v'hei dafka naket. Aval keren heicha deishkach kihashta mashal. Because you could easily answer that this brisa, this Mishnah, is talking about only keren and kefel and dalet v'hei. The knasim are only where you pay ke'ein shagana. But keren, you always pay the value of now. So, what's coming out in Rashi is that there is a difference between the principal value and the knasim. And it makes sense from a Svaradic standpoint as well. When it comes to knas, the gazlan, it's a fine, right? So the Torah wasn't doesn't fine people over and above what is reasonable. So the Ganav can say, listen, I understand that you're making me pay Karen Kihashta, you're making me pay the principal value of what it was worth at the time that I broke it, or I shechted it, or I sold it. Why? Because that's when I did really the Ma'aseh Gezela. Before that, there was no Ma'aseh Gezela, and it was still in the Rishus of the Bailam, meaning before changes happened, the object is still belonging to the original owner, in that if he came and took his cow or he took his pitcher of wine back, nobody would say, hey, you stole it from the Gazlan. No, he took his own object back. But once the shinoi happens, that's when it's mafkia, that's when it's taken out of the rishos of the original owner. And that's why you pay Karen at that point in time, because that's really the Ma'aseh Gezela. Up until that point, there's really no Ma'aseh Gezela that effectuates any sort of change in the status of this animal and its obligation for the Gazlan to give it back to the original owners. However, when you talk about fining someone, we would normally limit the extremity of laws that we find in the Torah. So the Gazlan can say, hey, I have a taina, I didn't steal an ox from you, I didn't steal a ram from you, so if you're going to punish me, give me the punishment based on the value of that which I actually took. Okay. All right, so clear, Rashi holds b'chol makom that you have a mamela situation, a situation where it automatically happens as part of the normal course of its life that a change happens. In that situation, because the Gazlan did not do a Ma'aseh Yadayim before that to be kind of the object or to effectuate a change, you are not kona. The Gazlan is not kona through shinoi up until he does that ma'isa of shearing the sheep, or of the cow giving birth, or of the animal becoming from a calf to an ox. Okay, the Ma'aseh Gezela happens when the change happens, not the other way around. We never go back to the original time that he stole it, if he did not do anything to effectuate a change in the animal. Okay? Alright, so clear with Shitas Rashi. Next week we will explore the Rush and hopefully other things. The Rush we will have to spend a little bit of time on, as it is quite lengthy and very complicated. But I hope you all got a geschmack out of this week's shiur, and join me next week. The Ma'ar Malcolm, the big Ma'ar Malcolm for next week, and it will be the only Ma'ar Malcolm, is prepare the Rosh Siman Gimel on our Mishnah. That, once again, that's the Rosh Siman Gimel on our Mishnah, and HaGozel Eitzim Shkayach. And I hope you all have some good kashas for me in the comments. Take care, and have a good week.